Hey everyone, Ryan here with Ray's Latest, and today we're going to be talking about the stadium plans that were unveiled in a board meeting slash press conference Tuesday night by Dave Bevert, the CEO of Ellison Development. They unveiled a $6.8 billion proposal for the gas plant district surrounding the existing Tropicana field. And if you can see here, I have put in the kind of proposal layout formula that they had, where you could see they left area around for a new ballpark because hopefully they want Tropicana Field or whatever they decide to name the new stadium and the Tampa Bay Rays to stay in the St. Petersburg area, because why wouldn't they? It's going to drive markets and revenues way up for them. It's going to have a concert hall. It's going to have 1.2 million office units is what they said, which I think is a lot. It's going to drive a lot of businesses to downtown St. Pete area, along with some concert venues and things of that nature. That hopefully is going to bring a lot more foot traffic and a lot more of the population to St. Pete and make them want to drive over the bridge from Tampa to get out there. I think that's just been the problem for the Rays since 1996. It's just getting people to want to go out to St. Pete. And I think if you add a kind of battery type district that they have in Atlanta, I think that will drive people to actually come out and want to spend the day in St. Pete and not just come for the game. I think it's going to put in a lot of restaurants, going to impose a lot of business. It's going to have a lot of companies wanting to move their businesses to this area. So they're going to all want to market themselves, and it's just going to be a big kind of entertainment district. And Dave, there says there's no plans in place as of now, official plans, obviously, for where the Rays are going to go. They've been talking a lot about Hillsborough County, but obviously the business developers in St. Pete want to keep the Rays in St. Pete because that's going to be kind of the driving factor for this whole area. It's going to be centered around the Rays. It's going to be centered around baseball and bringing people to the park and giving them a lot of extra things to do. They announced that they were going to have a concert venue. It's supposed to seat between 4,000 to 5,000 people. I mean, in this picture, it looks super futuristic, glass everywhere. It looks fantastic. I think that would be kind of something really cool. You know, the Rays play at 1 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, there's a band playing or a concert going on or something like that. Maybe like a Blue Man Group show or something like that. You know, kind of just getting people to stay in the area. Kind of wanted to come out and spend their hard-earned money in the area. I think this would be major for the kind of thing that people want to see around a ballpark these days. I mean, a lot of people don't want to just show up for the game. There's probably maybe 5 or 10% of the people just come to watch the game. A lot of people take this as more of a kind of these days is more of a like an entertainment aspect where they're coming. The game's just part of what their night's supposed to be. They come to just socialize, have a few drinks and things of that nature, and then they go out to the bars around the area and kind of make a whole night of it. I feel like that's what a lot of what these teams are starting to do. As you see with like the Rangers have Texas Live, you have the Braves have the Battery, and those are some of the biggest markets in baseball. And I think if you want to project yourself as the Rays in this new ownership group, and you want to be able to make the Rays a target destination for fans, for people to come from out of town, to come hang out, and you want to leave a staple on their visit, I think something of this nature would be huge. You know, you have businesses, you have restaurants, you have concert venues, you have the Rays, you have a lot of stuff of that nature. And I think a lot of people don't tend to kind of think about things of that nature when it comes down to coming to just baseball game. They're like, oh, well, my baseball team, takes me a while to get out there. It's gonna take a long traffic, get there, get back. And a lot of people don't think of like the business aspect with the surrounding area, because St. Pete itself it's been changing ever since I was a little kid. It used to be barely anything out there, and now there's new sky-rise developments on every corner you see. People are getting apartment complexes down there. Businesses are starting to move into the St. Pete area, and I think that kind of adding this whole entertainment district centered around the Rays would be really huge for the area. And I think that the players and I think that the organization necessarily wouldn't be opposed to that. Because the original plans with Stu at the helm was still in St. Pete. They was just right down the road, and it was a nice business development right around restaurants, venues, businesses, apartments, condos, anything of that nature was still there. And so I think that this development that they have would be around 2029 would be a hopeful start date for the Rays to play. And I think that could easily be done. That gives you 3.5 years to kind of just build the stadium, at least at first, and then build everything up around it. And I think, and they're even talking about adding a 750,000 square foot academic center where they could see the likes of universities like Stanford or maybe USF kind of moving down there, or maybe UCF, and getting just these high academic universities kind of have a branch campus in the Tampa area. I think that would be really huge. And they're going to have 1.2 million square feet of Class A office space too. So they're thinking about everything, and I love it. And I think that if you can bring academics, you can bring restaurants, you can bring condos, you can bring office centers, and all of this is centered around this brand new, beautiful stadium that they built for the Tampa Bay Rays. And it's also, the weather down there is fantastic all the time. So it's not necessarily you're walking around the Bills Stadium and in Buffalo and you're just freezing the whole time. It's going to be something where you could vacation down there, spend your time, walk around, enjoy the weather, things of that nature. And for me personally, I like the idea of keeping the Rays in St. Pete specifically only if they do something like this, where they add a bunch of stuff around the stadium. Because as you can see in the overlay from the original, it's just the Trop, and then there's parking lots and some apartment complexes across the street. And then you got to go a couple blocks over for one or two bars on a little strip. So it's right off the interstate. As you can see, the interstate's rolling straight through. So there's nothing really to do around the stadium. And I think if you can add this whole entertainment district around it, it would make, like I said earlier, a lot more people want to come out and enjoy St. Petersburg. But I do think at the end of the day, if you aren't thinking about going full scale with something like this, I do think that the move to Hillsborough County or Ybor City, around that area, I think for a fan perspective and just a turnout perspective on an everyday basis, I think would be an ideal scenario for that. But I think if the Rays ownership can buy into something like this, and I think it would be a no-brainer for the Rays to kind of stay in that same area. And they're in talks. If they do this, the Trop will be demolished, but not until 2033. So you're still going to have the Trop in the background for a little bit, it's not necessarily a bad eyesore. I don't really don't mind the sight of it. So I think that's one of those things that they're kind of thinking about doing. And if the Rays ownership does go in that direction, I think it would be a really good decision for them. You guys let me know down in the comments what you think about this and anything. And maybe if anything you want me to talk about specifically, or if there's any people that you want me to reach out to possibly and get some comments on, that would be fantastic, guys. Just let me know, and you guys have a good one.